Sorry, the window popped up in front of the script.
I'm so sorry.
No, no problem. So, okay, let's see.
So if he has
You
a
don't
home
need,
he needs to sell, you kind of keep that in the back of your mind, or you can start addressing, that he has a listing, but he's kind of called in on the home that he wants to look at. So
yeah,
you can either take the one and kind of like, follow that through a little bit. But ultimately you're trying to like set an appointment with him. So in the end, you're setting an appointment to, hey, would it be helpful to sit down and look and see, first of all, how much equity you have in your home, get you with a lender to make sure that you guys feel comfortable with the payments and everything going forward that way. And also look at some homes that I feel like, it sounds like, you guys really will be interested in. And then, are you available this time or this time? And then before we get off the phone, I have a few really important questions about your home so that we can, do I can bring over a CMA that will show you kind of what your value and how much equity you do have in your home, and then ask those pre-qualification questions. So you can go over and do a real valid listing appointment.
yeah, perfect. All right, so Don, you've got a home you need to sell. So I'd love to get together with you and do a price evaluation on your current home, see how much equity you have there, and make sure we're checking on what your purchasing power is on the new home, and find a payment that you're comfortable with. Love to sit down with our lender as well, and go over some of those numbers. So when would be a good time to do that? You have time this week? Maybe.
Well, I was really just calling to find out what the price of the home was that you had there on Main Street.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, the house on Main Street's sell for $625 is the list price right now. So we
And
could.
Brian, if they don't want to set an appointment right then, what I would say is keep trying to ask him a few more questions. Like for instance, Dawn, really quick, as you've been out looking, have you seen other homes that you were interested in? And then maybe jump to 5. Have you written any other offers with other agents in the last 6 months? Kind of try to get out some other questions, find out if he's been writing offers with other agents. And then also, as far as like getting him with a lender first, who have you been working with your financing? Before we go and look at this home, if he's like, oh, that's a great price, I really would like to go see that. Or if he says, oh, that's really out of our price range, say, you know what, that's, have you talked with the lender to kind of see where you're qualifying at? Which lender have you been talking with? And whether he has a lender or not, that's kind of where the script kind of goes into next. Is kind of goes into, because I have a lender I work with and knows exactly what is needed for you to move forward in today's market, I'll have, my mortgage lender reach out to you and in the next 48 hours so that we can prepare the paperwork needed, and so that any sellers that require this to either look at their home, and especially if you find the right home, so we can put in an offer and have that proper paperwork. So the reason why is, it's like I kind of go through and explain that, but then on the next part is it's kind of like if you don't have somebody reach out to them, you're like chasing down that paperwork. So he says, my friend is doing the lending for me, right? We've already met with them. So instead of you going into like, okay, so can you send over the pre-qualification letter? Did you get a pre-qualification letter? Because now you're like, he's trying to hurry and maybe call his friend, trying to get qualified, which he probably hasn't even done yet, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're spinning your wheels trying to get him to get with his friend, trying to get the proper paperwork. Now you're spending all this time trying to even figure out all that stuff. So instead of doing that, say, hey, that is great that you already have somebody that you want to do it for you. But because I have a lender that already knows what we need to get going here, I'm gonna have them reach out to you in the next 48 hours so that we have the right paperwork. And then that way, you know, it's really a benefit for you, because I really try to, you know, really, you know, what's the word? Suggest that you get two options whenever you're purchasing a home, you know, purchasing something like a home, which is usually someone's biggest asset. You want to have two things to compare against. So that way, when you go to your friend, you know, because you get to decide who you go through for your financing, but you have something to compare it with. Then when you go with your friend, you can, you know, see what they're giving you compared to what the lender I usually use is giving you. And then that way you can decide which way you want to go. And then you just move
Okay.
forward. Because if they're not willing to do that and they don't have a pre-qualification, pre-approval letter in hand ready to give to you, right? Then you're just spending so much time chasing down that paperwork. And it's usually because there's something going on with them. That's why they haven't met with somebody, or they don't want to meet with your person because there's something going on, right?
Right.
And I'll tell you guys this one thing, if you'll make it sound like it's a benefit for them, and it's something that you have to have in order to make an offer, and if they're not willing to do that, they're not real motivated. They're just not. So you're right there, you're in your mind, you've got to tell yourself, this person, you're going to be working with this person for months. You better settle in, because you're going to be working with this person for months, right? If they're not willing to come to your standard of business, you're going to be working with them for months. And that's okay, but you just have to, you know, come to the realization that that's what you're going to be dealing with, right? And it's the other thing with like motivation, qualifying them for motivation. I'll, you know, set them up on the listing alerts, or, you know, what it's called with our KV Core. And once those few homes go out, I'll say, hey, run by these few homes, see what you think. And then, you know, I'll call them and see, you know, sorry, can't even talk today. I'll say, run by these few homes and then tell me what you think. If they haven't driven by those few homes in 48 hours, unless there's a major emergency, then you guys, you got to settle in, because they're not purchasing in the next little bit. You're going to be working with them for months, because they're not motivated. Buyers that need to buy something, they're out driving around trying to find a house, right? That's why when you have a listing, you get the best buyers. So when you have that one listing, you always gather the best buyers in the marketplace, because the ones driving by the signs are the best buyers. So you don't have to be a listing agent, but if you'll like just focus on having just even one listing at a time, man, you're going to collect the best buyers in the marketplace, because those are the ones that are going to buy in 30 to 45 days, right? So you can qualify in that way. All right. And then just the ending, I like to be, so let's have you finish this out, Brian. I should have kind of gone through this because it's kind of like all my writing. So just finish it out with the, I'd like to be able.
Okay. So Don, I'd like to be able to meet with you and your wife and go over the buyer process and answer any contract, earnest money, inspection, or other questions you might have.
And then just set the appointment at the bottom.
Okay.
Are you available?
All right. Are you available next Monday or Tuesday?
And give them 2 times.
Okay. Would Monday afternoon around 2 o'clock, or I've got time Tuesday morning around 10.
It would need to be in the evening.
Okay. Sounds good. Would Monday evening say around 6 o'clock work for you?
Recording in progress.
Hold on just a second. I'm having technical difficulties.
I know, I have 2 Don Pans.
You losing?
Can you hear us, Don?
There
There you are.
I switched from my phone to my computer.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, I forgot what the question was.
Oh. No problem. So would Monday around 6 o'clock work to meet?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, sounds good. I'll see you Monday at 6.
And then Brian, go back and ask him if you can ask him a couple more questions in order to like go through those pre-qualifications for his listing. And
Okay.
then you kind of do that listing appointment when you meet with him. So like, for instance, hey, Don, before we meet tomorrow, I just have a couple more questions about your home so that we can, hopefully that will be helpful for you guys to look at, what your home is worth and how much equity you have there in purchasing the next place. So kind of
Okay.
close it with like, I'm just going to ask you just a couple more questions.
Okay. Hey, Don, a couple more questions before we meet on Monday evening. Just had a couple questions about your home. Have you met with an agent and discussed price evaluation yet on your home?
Okay, and then Brian, there's actually, we're not going to go into the pre-qualification script,
Okay.
but what we do is we kind of just end with like, hey, I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions, just so that like we remember that we need to do the
Oh,
pre-qualification.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because what happens is we go to set an appointment. I've had like, even myself, we get so excited that we set the appointment that we forget to ask like stuff about the house. We forget to ask like if everybody's going to be there for the appointment, and we get off the phone. I had one agent one time that didn't ask for the address. They didn't write down the phone number. They didn't know the people's names. They had no idea how to even get back in touch. They had an appointment, but they had no information about the house, the address, the person, the phone number. They had no idea where the appointment was. So,
Okay.
so it's about like making sure you have enough information to run a CMA and like those pre-qualifications. Like, have you been talking with other lenders? If, those types of questions. Is the home in a trust? Just so that you're well versed and be able to do a qualified appointment.
Okay.
So, and that's, if you don't have that script, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I apologize about this script. I actually sent it in and I don't think it ever got typed up. So I'm just using the one that I sent in. So I apologize. But does that make sense how like you guys have a right to have a standard of business? You have a right to like ask for if they don't have the proper documentation, to then say, hey, you guys get to choose who you get to use, but for your benefit, I'm going to have my lender that knows the proper paperwork and specializes in working with, people, buyers like yourself that are buying for the first time or whatever it is, and can get us that paperwork so that when, sellers are requiring it, or especially when you find that perfect house, that we don't lose out because we don't have the proper paperwork. So I'm gonna have them call you within the next 48 hours. And then that way, once we get into the home, you have something to compare it with your friend who's the lender. And then you get to decide. So make it a benefit for them. Never make it like, I'm not gonna work with you unless you get pre-qualified by my lender. You know what I mean? Like people don't like that. You got to make it like, why is it a benefit for them? Why is it a value to them if they go talk to 2 people, right? But I'll tell you, it will save you so much time, so much headache, so much everything if you get that proof of funds or that pre-approval letter ahead of time. And you don't have to go search for it from some other lender, that they probably haven't even met with yet. Right?
Right. Yep.
And then the other thing is, I'm telling you, it works like a charm to have them go drive by a couple of properties first. I know we love to jump the gun and just go run out there and meet with them. Go just And if it's a hot property and this doesn't always work, because sometimes, I've had these type of conversations with them out on the front lawn of the house, right? Sometimes you're having those buyer presentation questions out in the front of the house before you have them sign like even a buyer broker agreement for that one house before you go in, because you haven't had time to do that. But it's okay to do it right before you go in. And if they say something like, I just still don't feel comfortable even signing up for the house you're going to show to me right now, it's okay for you to say, you know what, then the agent that you're writing the offer with, the one that you're going to call after you look at this house, if you like this house, I'm going to need you to call that agent to go through this house with you, right? If you're not the listing agent, you're just there to show that buyer through. Like, it's okay to say, I wish you guys well, but if there's another agent you're working with, if you didn't ask that question on the phone and you didn't ask that till you got in front of the house, it's okay to say, I wish you guys well. I hope you guys find what you're looking for, but I'm going to need you to call that agent you're going to write the offer with. Because you guys, what happens once you show a home, like 3, 4, 5, 6 homes to some buyer and they haven't signed anything? They've got some other agent they're loyal to because we haven't asked the right questions, right? We have nothing, and we just keep wasting more and more time with these people that have no loyalties to us, right? I mean, I don't even necessarily need to get a buyer broker agreement signed. I mean, I come from 30 years ago where we all represented the seller. I mean, the buyer broker agreement didn't even come out for years. But I knew that if I had the conversation with the buyer, right, before I showed them homes, hey, you're going to see for sale by owners. You're going to go into new construction model homes where I'm not going to be there always. But, explain to them how new construction works. There's an agent that sits there that represents the builder, and they're either going to take all the commission or they're going to split it with an outside agent that represents you, the buyer. So you can either have me represent you when there's a problem, or you could have to deal with it all by yourself and no one represents you. You're going to sign a form that says that no one represents you. And that agent that's sitting in that model representing the buyer gets all the commission, when the only difference is that they have to split the commission with me. So I can be there to make all the notes, keep all the records, keep everything that's in writing, make sure we keep every change in writing. Because a lot of times it's such an emotional purchase to build a home and to make all the changes. And when there's problems, you have no recourse but to sue them after you close. But if you have someone representing you, someone to take all the paperwork, then I can be there to fight for you because I've got everything in writing. And I'll be there for the meetings. I'll be there to keep all the records. So if you show them your value, right, then they're going to walk into a model home and that agent's going to say, oh, you know what, you can get a better deal if you don't use your outside agent. And they're not even going to listen. They're going to say, nope, Katie represents me. And you're not going to have to go register your buyer with every new construction person in town because you educated them, right? Or you say to them, hey, if you run by a new for sale by owner, my company's worked with, hundreds, thousands of for sale by owners. And they're happy to work with us because they don't know how to write a contract. They really don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to save commissions. And I'm willing to go in and take a commission that's agreeable to both of us so that I can handle the paperwork and make sure everything gets done properly, that it closes properly. And most of them are very happy to work with me. So if you'll just call me when you see it for sale by owner sign, I will give them a call. I'll set the appointment to get you in, and I'm happy to work with those sellers. They don't know that you can work with for sale by owners unless we tell them, right? So when they go off and buy a for sale by owner, we can only blame ourselves because we didn't educate them, right? So this paragraph that I have that says, I'd like to be able to meet with you and go over the buyer process. I want to be able to answer any contract questions, earnest money questions, inspection, and any other questions you guys might have about this buyer process. I want to make sure you guys feel comfortable with everything that's going to go on throughout this buyer process. I'll tell you, people will show up if you will say that, because regardless of how knowledgeable you think a buyer is, like for instance, you're working with an attorney, a doctor, someone that you think is really educated. I think we skip over this. And if we'll say that, you know, they don't have to use their egos and ask us. They'll go to another agent that will educate them because they don't buy homes all the time. And they don't have to ask us about, hey, what is it about earnest money? You know, we forgot. If we are that, I'll tell you, the one thing that builds value is educating people, regardless of how educated you think they are. If we just make that standard, that we're going to make sure that they feel comfortable every step of the way, because, you know, they don't buy homes all the time, regardless of how much you think they know. That will help them. You know, I'm going to make sure, you know, like if you're working with someone that might need assistance with a down payment, or might be doing some kind of jumbo financing. Maybe they're all of a sudden they are making a really good living, but they've never had to do jumbo financing. And you're saying, you know what, I know a lot of really great lenders that can give you a really great jumbo loan that have really great rates with jumbo financing. You know, they're going to be like, oh, great, this person can really help us because we have no idea what we're doing with that. I mean, help them know that you know what you're doing with all of that, and that you're going to help them through every step of the way with all those type of things. That's what helps glue you to people, is you knowing and educating people about those type of things, right? And that's what's, you know, makes the appointment stick, is those type of educating people. So, all right. Stockton, do you want to go through this script? I know there's a lot of writing, but you just kind of have to sort through my parentheses in there.
Yes, yeah.
All right, Brian, will you be his buyer?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Stockton, go for it when you're ready.
Hey, this is Stockton Farnsworth at 3 Max Associates. How can I help you?
Hey, Stockton. Just asking and wondering about the home over on 1200 East.
Oh, great. Yeah, let me pull that up on my computer real quick. So how long have you been looking for a home?
About a month or so.
Oh, great. And how soon were you looking to be moving in?
You know, hoping to be in the next few months, you know, by the summer.
Good plan. And do you have another home that you would need to sell before purchasing a new one?
No, this would be our first home.
Oh, great. So are you currently leasing then?
Yeah, we are.
So when does your current lease expire? How much time do you have?
Expires in a couple of months, I think end of May.
End of May. That sounds like that could work out. Good timing. And so have you seen a lot of homes that you're interested in?
Looked at a few, you know, looked on Zillow and stuff like that.
So what are you specifically looking for?
Well, we want something a little bit bigger, you know, maybe 4 or 5 bedrooms, a little bigger than what we're in right now. You know, bigger yard for the kids to run around in.
Great. So have you written any other offers with any other agents in the last few months?
No, we haven't.
So who are you currently working for your mortgage?
I've got a cousin that's a loan officer.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. Because I work, because the lender I work with knows exactly what is needed for you to move forward in today's market, I'll have IntroLend reach out to you. Oh, mortgage lender. I'll have Corey reach out to you in the next 48 hours so that we will be prepared with the paperwork needed that any sellers that require to look at their home, especially if you find the right home and want to put in an offer.
Well, I'd really probably prefer to use my cousin.
And you'd still have that freedom of choice. This would just greatly benefit you, even if you have another mortgage lender like your cousin, just to compare the costs and rate to compare against them. In the end, you're the one who would, of course, decide who you will be using for your financing.
I guess it
That's-
wouldn't hurt to talk to him a little bit.
Okay,
And then
I'd
just
like,
like that,
what was that?
get that next program.
I'd like to be able to meet with you and go over and review the buyer process and answer any contract or earnest money or inspection or any other questions you might have. Are you available to meet at my office Tuesday at 4 or Monday at 7 p.m.?
Let's see, I'll be at work till 5 on Tuesday, so yeah, probably you said Tuesday at 7.
Yeah, Tuesday at
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, that should work.
So I'm thinking let's see.
Yeah, just basically close, and you could say something like, you know what, I look forward to meeting you, answering any questions that you have, making sure that you feel comfortable with the buyer process and making sure that we get you into a home in a timely manner or something like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
job.
Are there like pre-qual lender questions I should go into or after setting the appointment, or is that only really for seller appointments?
You know what, it might be some of the first questions that maybe you didn't ask in the beginning because you didn't get to those. Maybe you set the appointment really quick. So, I mean, I think the more questions you ask about maybe what they're looking for, maybe making sure you've asked if they need to sell a home before they buy something, like just making sure you're asking all those questions, because you may set an appointment with them far before you ask all those questions. So I think it's just in like making sure you're asking enough questions to make the appointment stick, right? Qualifying people is making sure you have enough information about them to have a valid appointment, but then having enough information and having that rapport, building that value with them, right?
Yeah.
And you're always going to think, I mean, even if you can like think of other questions that come up as you're talking with them, will just build that value. So, all right, Mike, do you want to give this a try?
Sure. You talking to me, Mike, or is there another mic on?
I'm just talking to you, Mike. All right, Stockton, will you be his buyer?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Explain how we're setting this up. Did they call me about a listing, or they
So this can be
Absolutely.
anything. This could be a buyer that calls off one of your listings. It could be you getting a lead off your social media, Zillow, like any kind of lead conversion, like just not losing a lead. And those leads could be sellers. I mean, just any kind of a lead that comes in.
Okay, so in this instance, it could be possibly a buyer that's looking to purchase. Okay.
So we'll just say maybe it's a sign call coming off one of your listings.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay,
Hi, is
Stockton,
this-
you're his sign call.
Hello, I'm calling about the house on Jason Street.
Oh, okay. This is Mike Cooper with Remax Associates. Who am I speaking with?
Stockton.
Hi, Stockton. How are you doing?
Good.
So what was it about this home that attracted you to it?
I just saw the view that it has from up here on the side of the mountain. It's fantastic.
Oh, okay. And how long have you been looking for a home?
About 45 days, at 47 specifically.
47 specifically. Okay. Have you been able to see other homes? Have you walked in or seen any?
I went through a couple open houses.
Open houses. Okay. I was just curious if you've been working with an agent or someone that's been helping you look at homes.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I can give you more information about this home. How soon do you have to be moved out or moved into a home?
Ideally, by the end of summer,
Oh, okay. Now, did you say you currently own your home or are you renting?
renting.
Oh, okay. All right. So are you a first-time home buyer or have you purchased a home before?
This would be the first time.
Okay. There's lots of incentives for being a first-time home buyer, and I can have you speak with one of the lenders that I work with that's really helpful and give you a lot of information, including how to work with or how to purchase a home for your first time.
That sounds great.
Okay. Have you talked with a lender at all, or do you have one in mind that you've worked with? I was just curious if you've been qualified to purchase a home yet.
No, I haven't spoken to anyone about that yet. Someone at
Well,
my bank started talking to me about it, but
yeah. Okay. Well, since you have a period of time that you need to move and get into a home, then I can help you with this one. Again, showing you this home and taking a look. But also, I'll send you the name of Melissa, for example, who I work with, know and trust. She's great, and she will help you with your questions. Because when we do submit an offer, having that pre-qualification is really helpful, and I can help you with that.
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, when would you have time to meet? We can meet at my office if you'd like. We can actually meet at the home also if you'd like, at the listing, if you'd want to take a look at it. We can sit down in the home and talk a little bit about what you're looking for, how you can be set up for that, questions you might have about the purchase process that I can answer as well.
Yeah, let's meet at the house on Jason Street.
Okay. Do you have time later today or this evening?
This evening would work.
Okay. How does 6:30 work for you?
That sounds great.
Okay. Well, let's meet at the home at 6:30. I'll be there to greet you and we can sit down and talk more about it. And I can answer more of your questions and we can look around.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice meeting you. And I'll see you at 6:30 today. I'll send you a reminder.
Thank you. That sounds great.
Okay. Thanks, Stockton. Have a good day.
You as well.
Awesome, Mike. How many like how that sounded?
Great.
Yeah.
That sounded awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely loved meeting at the house. I read the script and just totally forgot about what the point of the call was. That was good.
And yes, and it's the practice. And add in the question, are you a first-time home buyer or have you purchased a home before?
Yeah, that was good.
Because, you're gonna, I mean, yes, it's gonna be much easier to talk to a first-time home buyer about, using your lender, all those types of things. You're gonna have to be a little bit more stick to your standard of business, right? When you're talking to someone that's already purchased homes, they want to use their lender, type of a thing, just to like really add in like that value, right? It's really is a benefit for you to talk to two people and have a comparison. Because, I'm gonna make sure that we have the proper paperwork so that when we go and need that for either the, especially for the offer, we're not gonna be able to write an offer unless we have that proper paperwork, but then you're also gonna have, that to compare with. And, you're gonna want that, at least one other comparison when you get a mortgage, for something that's most likely one of your biggest assets. Just really give that value added so that you're not having to chase that pre-approval that they probably don't even have at this point, right? So, but I loved how that sounded, Mike. That was awesome.
Thanks.
All right. Does anybody want to try this one more time, or do you guys want to try something like another script for a minute?
Either one.
Let's see here. How do I move this so that I can see my tabs on the top? See, I know enough to make me dangerous, but not enough. Who has another script in front of them?
I can get one in just a second.
Let's see.
I've got to figure out how to move this bar. Oh, shoot, I had all the scripts lined up here, but I can't move this bar. Anybody else have another script while Stockton's looking for his?
Well, I have this FISBO script up. You were talking in your instruction about, okay,
Oh,
what if they're
perfect.
looking at a FISBO and how we can approach that.
Do you want to go for a FISBO for a minute?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Brian, will you be the FISBO?
Yeah,
All right, Mike, go for it.
Okay. Hello, is this Brian?
yeah, it is.
Hi, Brian. This is Mike Huber with Remax Associates. I'm calling about your home for sale. Are you the owner?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm calling to set up an appointment to preview your home and spend a few minutes. I'd like to talk about my marketing plan and show you how I can get your home sold. Which would work better for you? Could you do it today or tomorrow, possibly?
Well, maybe we're pretty well set, just doing it on our own.
Are you? How long have you had the home for sale?
A couple months.
Couple months. How's it working for you? I'm just kind of curious. Have you had a lot of buyers or people calling?
Yeah, every couple of days we get somebody interested calling about it.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of showings?
We've had a few.
Okay. How about offers? Are you having people offer on it? Have you had some good ones?
Like, one kind of lowball offer.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. What's the most important thing to you about getting your home sold? What do you need or are looking for in your home sale?
Trying to get the most money we can out of it, obviously, and trying to get it sold here in the next month or so.
Oh, do you have a time limit? You need to get it sold soon. Are you moving somewhere?
Yeah, we're trying to get into another house next couple months, so we've got a new home that's being built.
Oh, nice. Where's that at?
It's out in Eagle Mountain.
Oh, who's your home builder?
It's Arrive Homes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do a good job. That'll be nice. So you need to get this one sold so you can get into that one. Understandable.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Well, since you've had it on the market a couple months and you haven't had any really good offers, I would love to sit down with you and tell you about my marketing plan and how I can help you sell your home. And we can discuss possibly when I bring buyers to you to purchase, how we can maybe do a commission split on that. But I'd like to tell you kind of how I can help bring those buyers to you first. Would that be possible? Could we sit down and have that conversation?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt to talk to you and see what you can do.
Yeah, if you don't like what you hear, you can send me along, but I'd love to tell you what kind of options we have that might help you sell this faster and better.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I appreciate that chance for letting me come and talk with you. Do you have time today or tomorrow in the afternoon or evening?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon would work.
Okay. Yeah, but I'd like to talk about a few things that I talk about with other people that I help list their homes, finding out a little bit more about your home. What are some of the best features? How long you've owned the home? What kind of price you're looking for? What kind of amenities that you'll include? What you won't accept as far as low bid offers and things like that.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Well, let's meet then, and I will come to your home if that works for you, and we can sit down for a few minutes.
All right, that works.
Okay. Well, thank you for considering that and for your time, and I'll see you then.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Awesome, Mike. And then, Mike, have you seen the prequel script?
I have not seen the prequel script.
And then, not that the prequel script is a end all to anything, and you can add things, take away things. It has things on it like if you haven't found out their motivation, like you found out that they were building a home, that they needed to, like their time frame. So you already found that out. But let's say you didn't find that out. It gives you a chance to it gives those questions. So it's like, oh yeah, I don't know why they're moving. If you didn't find out, maybe what they priced their home at, or you didn't find out if like the wife's gonna be there, or if the home's in a trust, or you didn't ask anything about the house. So you can find almost anything about the house in the tax records. The three things you cannot find in the tax records are if it's a 2, 3, no garage, just a carport type of a thing, which is important when you're doing a CMA. It doesn't tell you a lot of times what style the home is, whether it's a 2-story, split entry, like what the style of the home is. And then the other thing is you ask about the updates, like is the basement finished? Or has there been any updates to the home? Sometimes, you want to know kind of a little bit about that kind of thing. And then I always ask, like, if it's a 2-story, because you always are given usually like the ground square footage, the why am I not thinking of the word? Like the ground
footprint?
square, the what?
Like the footprint?
Yes. So like, you don't know, like, is that like split evenly? Because first of all, you don't know the style of the home. So you don't know how that ground floor square footage is split. And then, usually if you know the ground floor, you know what the basement is, not always, but usually. So then you can ask them if the ground floor is this, is it usually split evenly? So when you see that number on the tax record, you kind of know how to, put their square footage when you do the CMA. So it's those things that you need to make sure you ask them about, or you're not going to be able to do a decent CMA from just the tax records, right?
Do you have a copy of that qualifying script?
Yes, I will send that to you, Mike. So it just kind of helps you go back through and say, ooh, I forgot to ask these questions. I was telling them before, Mike, that I had an agent one time that didn't keep the phone number, didn't ask them for their address, didn't know their names. Like they had an appointment, but they had no idea where, like with who. Like
That
they
sounds
were
like
so
something I would do.
excited. Huh?
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, same with me. So it just kind of helps you go back and have more of a qualified appointment. So, and then like the very first question in the pre-qual script is, if you feel comfortable and confident in everything that we talk about, are you willing to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow at 3? And sometimes agents are very like, well, I'm just going over there to preview, or I just told them I was just going to come over and talk to him for a second, or, like that sounds really weird to say to somebody. But you guys, if you'll say that to a for sale by owner, or, even like if you're just going over there on a valid listing appointment, that question will bring out all kinds of objections. If they say to you, well, we just want to talk to you, we don't know if we're going to actually list the home. And you say, you know what, only if everything we talk about makes sense to you and you feel comfortable with everything that we talk about, are you willing to, list your home when I come out? And they're like, oh, well, possibly. That tells you that they don't have a mother in the business. They don't have some kind of condition like they have to wait till next year when someone retires or their kids graduate from high school. Like, they'll say something like, well, we can't list it tonight. Our kids have to graduate from high school first, right? Like my mom's in real estate. I can't list it with you. So like every kind of objection that's going to squash you listing that house is going to come out when you ask that question. That's why you ask that question, not for any other reason, so that you don't waste all your time preparing, driving out there just to sit down and then go, oh, well, we can't list with you. They're just needing the information, right? They're not listing with you. So that will save you so much time and energy if you will just ask that first question, right? So much. All right, let's see, what time is it? No, but that was a great job, Mike. What was I gonna say? Oh, especially with for sale by owners, if you were not to get that appointment, with for sale by owners, especially like when when Brian mentioned that he got a lowball offer, something you can say is, when you're listing your home yourself, ask them how they're advertising. I think that's one of the questions on the script, and they might say, KSL with a sign, And you say, you know, a lot of times when those are your only methods of advertising, you're attracting, you know, local investors, your neighbors. A lot of times that's why you're getting a lot of lowball offers. The reason why you want to list with a professional like myself, not only you're going to be listing with me, but I'm going to be advertising to all the other full-time professional agents that do this full-time, that are also attracting people from outside the state, outside the country, that are also working with qualified buyers that are ready, that, you know, that are well qualified to buy your home. And because of the exposure that I can create with your home and the buyers that I'm attracting, that's why I can bring a higher price to your home versus you just trying to attract local investors, local buyers that are coming in and trying to give you lowball offers. I'd like to show you how I can, you know, show you the techniques I use to sell homes. Are you available this time or this time? Right, especially when they're frustrated with getting those lowball offers. So, have a great job. That's just, you know, just kind of going over just some different ideas. So, all right, Stockton, what script do you have?
It's a just sold script.
Awesome. Okay, Mike, do you want to be his cold? Are you going to be doors or phones?
Let's do a phone. We'll call.
Okay. Are you still there, Mike?
Yeah, did he say he wanted to do door or phone?
Phone.
Phone, okay.
Okay, go for it,
And
Stockton.
this is a just sold script?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hello?
Hey, this is Stockton Farnsworth at Remax Associates. I recently sold a home over on Jason Street, and it has 4 bedrooms and 6 baths, and it sold for $600,000. We know when someone sells a home, usually 2 more sell right away. So I was wondering, when do you plan on moving?
I haven't thought about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, terrific. And how long have you lived at this address?
I've lived here for about 6 years, 7 years, trying to remember.
Great, great. And where did you move from?
I just lived in Provo.
Great. And how did you happen to pick this area?
I saw the home and liked everything that it had, and so just decided to choose it. Wasn't any farther from my workplace.
Excellent. And if you were to move, where would you go next?
Wow. Since my workplace is around here, it'd probably be somewhere in the area. It would have to be maybe a better home. I'm not sure.
And when would that be? When would that be?
Oh, possibly when my kids are out of school, maybe we might downsize.
Downsize.
So I think the youngest one graduates in 4 years, 3 years.
Nice. Well, I'd like to stay in contact with you so that I could be a sort of resource to you in regards to real estate. I'd love to see what's the. I'd love to get your address so that I could send you some information.
Yeah, sure. Have you been an agent for a while?
Yes, I have. I've been with Remax for 7 years.
Okay, I know the Remax name. So yeah, if we have questions about it or decide we're looking at a home or something like that, or see something that we liked better, yeah, we could contact you then.
And have you ever thought about using the equity in your home to invest in another?
Thought about it. Hadn't really looked into it though, but thought about it.
Well, if it would be of any interest to you, I'd love to be able to meet with you over at your home and go over some of these options.
That might be a possibility in case we decide to move earlier.
Would next Tuesday at 7 or tonight at 5 work?
Let me talk with my wife first. So can we talk about maybe Tuesday evening?
Yeah, that sounds good. And I just wanted to get your email address real quick.
Sure, I can give that to you.
Thanks. And before I let you go, I just have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
And then I don't know, I guess I'd go into another pre-qual
Did you
script or
set-
something.
Did you set the appointment with him for Tuesday?
Tentatively.
Yeah,
So
it seems set
set
to
a
me.
time, set a time with them for Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday at 5.
Oh, okay, perfect.
It was a tentative appointment though.
Yeah, so really like set it and say, Tuesday at 5, I'm gonna pencil you in my schedule, and then I will, text you that morning, make sure it's good for both of you still, right? Get the appointment and then go through the prequal. The thing is like he kept dropping you little hints, like he might move sooner, right? So whenever you have people kind of dropping you hints that they might move sooner, you might be able to because it's such an opportunity right now for buyers. I mean, things are starting to pick up though. I mean, we're seeing multiple offers, things are starting to pick up. But I think you still kind of have a window before, I think we've got a little bit before rates really do go back down. So maybe you kind of present that, hey, Mike, right now, rates are still up, but what we're finding is that, if you can get in right now before rates do go back down, there's a lot of opportunity with rate buy downs for the next couple of years. You can get down with a lower rate, get in while prices are down, because once rates do settle back down, we don't know when that's going to be. I mean, people are saying it's going to be sooner, but it could be later. Get you in at a more decent price. So when prices do go back up, you can really get some more equity in the home than waiting a couple years down the road before you buy. If you'd like to, if it'd be helpful, to get together, see what kind of equity you have in your home right now, and also see what else is out there that might be of interest to, you and your family. And if it makes sense for you guys to make a move now versus later, you know what I mean? Get them excited that there really is an opportunity now versus maybe waiting for 2 to 4 years down the road when prices really do skyrocket and go back up. So, and get him to get him more excited about meeting with you. And then if he really has thought about investing, hey, I work with a lender that really specializes in first-time investors. I'm going to have them reach out to you in the next 48 hours. Have the lender reach out to them, because really, if you go over there and talk to them about investing, unless they feel confident in their financing ability, you're really just going to go over there and talk about not really anything. They've got to feel confident in their ability to invest, right?
Yeah.
And then you can really start looking at properties for them. So maybe, get them with an investor, and then when they feel confident, when you go over there, if they decide not to list their house, then you can start showing them properties. Now you know that they have an ability to start looking at investment properties. Does that make sense?
Yep.
No, but great job. Great job asking the questions. I was going to tell you, great job.
Thank you.
So, any other questions about that script? No, but really good. All right, well, you guys, thank you for being on. Hopefully, did that help anybody?
Katie, I have a quick question
Definitely,
before
yeah.
everybody goes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Who's talking?
This is Daryl.
Oh, Daryl. Okay, Daryl, you go first, then we'll have Brian.
Okay, I just have a quick question for you guys. It's great to practice these scripts, but before we get to this point, we have to have somebody to talk to. I'm curious, are you finding any success with particular lead generation programs or lead generation activity that you're currently exercising in order to kick up people to call or talk to?
We're talking about door knocking. We're talking about sign calls from listings. Some people are calling off, like Stockton has a lead generating thing that he's working on. Same with Brian. So everybody, I think Mike does too. So everybody has their own lead generating things that they're doing.
Right, I understand that. My question is it working? What's working for you?
Well, that's why we're working on lead conversion.
No, timeout. We're past, you have to have somebody to talk to before you can convert them. Right?
Well,
So my question,
they are talking with actual people that are calling in on properties.
yeah, I'm looking for some feedback from the agents here.
Okay, go ahead, you guys.
The activity that you guys are engaging in right now, is it satisfactory? Is it providing you enough leads to actually create people to talk to? Are you getting callbacks? Are you getting phone numbers to call from internet leads or whatever activity you may be using? Because every agent does this differently. So my question is, for the benefit of others in the company, have you found something that seems to be getting some traction in getting you actual people to talk to? Anybody?
Daryl, this is Mike. I tried to do a few different things. I am working with my SOIs, talking with them, particularly past clients. I talk with them about reviews, if they're happy with my performance, especially if we've just closed on a home. And then, of course, I contact them probably every other month about referrals, and asking who they know, who they work with, family members. There's someone like them that are looking to buy a home or sell a home, have questions about the real estate market, want to receive market data, all of that. And I've gotten some fairly good referrals that I'm following up on. I also purchased leads that I follow up with them to help build my database with. And again, if those people aren't ready to buy or working with another agent or whatever, I still ask for them for referrals. I don't want to go away empty-handed.
Good for you. Good for you. I think that's a fundamental source. And I think if everyone will stick with it and do the work, I think eventually that does work. And sometimes it goes cold. Sometimes you don't get anything out of it for a while and agents quit. But I think also, I think you've got a two-pronged approach there. And I think that's really critical right now in this market, because sometimes our SOI does go dry, and having an outside source on your leads that you're buying, are you getting much out of that?
Define much, that's the question. I'm talking with several people on it, several, probably more than several. Many of them are trying to get qualified right now. Many of them are trying to buy. Many of them are discouraged because, they qualified 2 years ago for a down payment or a loan for a home purchase and got outbid. Now they're trying to get something, and unfortunately, many of them are looking for things in the $300,000 range, which is limited, but still trying to help them. And again, this could take months. And I've had people that have called me after months. I had a couple people this week that called me after talking to them last summer that said, now we're ready to buy again. So we're moving forward with that. But it's a slow, long process. And again, I wouldn't call them SOIs. I would call them active leads where we talked before, they weren't ready, and I try to keep in touch with them.
Yeah, critical to have a follow-up system of some kind, whether it's KV Core or anything else, some kind of a system, because the agents that stick with them are the ones that are going to get the business, and at least you're filling your pipeline. So good for you. I think those are two excellent options. Brian Stockton, anything else that you can add to that?
I've been buying some leads over the last few months, and I've gotten a little bit of traction, but honestly not much. I'm looking to move into some more different approaches. So right now I'm looking for other options.
Okay. Brian, any remarkable success with any particular method?
Not anything really notable as of yet. Still just trying to get some traction with my SOI and reaching out to people and getting that pipeline going.
Good. I would encourage all of you to use that fundamental foundation of your SOI and don't give up on it. Continue to do those. Send cards, make calls, send emails, offer services. You can send them a property valuation once every 3 months because the market's moving quickly, just so that you're constantly in front of them, because the agent that's in front of them when they decide to do something is the one that's going to get the business, right? So that is fundamental in building your business. And then all of us need to start looking for other sources, other ways of generating business And the reason I'm asking is that's forefront on my mind. And I hope that the company will, in the not too distant future, be able to help you with some of those avenues and methods of how to go after other leads to add to the top of your SOI. So thank you. I appreciate the feedback, all of you. And thanks for being on this call with Katie.
Daryl, what are some
Yeah.
of those methods that you're talking about to help us get more leads?
Well, that's part of what I'm not sure of, and I, traditionally there are a lot of things that different agents do, but I'm not sure that it's all working the same as it has in years past. It's a different market, and actually it's difficult to gauge right now because nothing is working right now, right? I think we need to know what nothing's working well, not like it traditionally does. We just have to be patient. But I think we need to know what our programs are. We need to know what kind of loan programs are available, and be able to articulate that to new buyers, for example, with the grant money that's come available, the 2-1 buy downs. We have to be able to articulate that in detail to these people, not just say, well, we got these great programs, because that's what the agents that are untrained will do. You need to set yourself apart when you do find people to talk to by knowing those programs really well, and they will continually change as we move through the year. So to answer your question, Katie hit on several of those. Some of the old traditional methods are door knocking. These are low cost, low impact. So if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars, you can do some of these things relatively inexpensively. There's geographic farm marketing. There's a number of different things that we can explore, and maybe we can create the program that you can just plug into. And I don't know the answer to your question yet. I don't know exactly what to recommend that's going to work the most effectively, and we don't want to waste a lot of time. That's why I want to make sure we try to find things that work for you, that if you spend the time and energy on these programs, that they'll work for you. Another one is the Every Door Direct, very economical mailing program. And I would suggest in a geographic farm area, someplace where you want to generate business, that you find a zip code that's affordable, and that you hit that just as if it were an extension of your SOI. And then we'd have to figure out how to get you the phone numbers to all of those addresses, either a reverse cold directory or other methods. And I'm actually going to ask other agents that are doing these things for how they're doing it, and I want to share their methods with everybody. Then you just need to choose the ones that you're willing to do, number one, and the ones that you think you can be good at. It doesn't matter which marketing methods you use, as long as you find one you will use, and you'll find that some things you're really good at, some things you're not. And whatever you're good at will work if you stick with it. So I'll get back to you, Mike, with an answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl, always number one is your SOI, always and foremost. I've always promoted the SOI. You never do a secondary source until you've called your SOI first. That's always 5 SOI before you do anything else, always. As far as things not working right now, I think that it's in building your skill set that things work. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's unfair to say that things aren't working. I think you can build I think things are working for many people. I think it's in building your skill set.
Well, I know that my buyers that qualified for a $450,000 home a year ago no longer qualify. There's no amount of
There's
skill.
nothing you can do about those types.
Exactly. So there's nothing in my
Absolutely.
skill set that I can do to improve that and change
No.
that situation.
No,
So-
but I mean, in going out and finding new leads, new options, new ways to find business,
Right.
right?
We need people to talk to. The more people we talk to, the more successful we'll be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're working on that for you guys. And hopefully you'll be able to put these skills to use as soon as we get more people in front of you. And your skills will improve as you get more people in front of you, working with them directly. So this is good practice. Thanks for
Daryl,
being here.
real quick, Daryl, every now and again, and I think maybe some of the other agents get those as well, we'll get some sort of lead from RE/MAX directly. And I got to admit, those haven't really panned out or been very helpful. They're usually working with another agent, or they don't return a call. But I'm curious as to what RE/MAX might be doing, and this may be an answer for later, to help generate more leads through RE/MAX's global marketing and local marketing. and all of that. I'm curious as to how much funds they've put into to try to generate leads from potential buyers, potential sellers that would contact RE/MAX directly that could be fed to agents. Or is that already happening and some agents are getting the bulk of those leads?
I can answer that for you. They're in transition right now. So the lead delivery system is going to be KV Core. In the past, you just received an email from RE/MAX. Those leads come from a variety of places, primarily from the RE/MAX website and national and international advertising. So they go out just round robin